don't worry too much about the 2.0 thing. I'm just putting up that so I sounded a bit smarter than I am. Today I'm just really going to focus on one thing, which is I believe that the balance of power has shifted candidates. And because of this, I think the power of information that candidates have has changed the game. And my belief, and I'm going to argue today, is that job seekers, the biggest threat to everyone here, whether we're a recruitment firm, whether we are an employer, it's rejection by job seekers. That's what I'm going to argue about today. And I'm going to talk about 3 points about the new powers that job seekers have, which they don't have before. And I think that is changing the game. I'm going to start with this Matt Tupper. He's a good friend of mine, a former colleague. He's also a brilliant IT professional. Why do I pick him? Because I think he represents what job seekers are today. He is well connected. He's traveled a variety of cities and worked in different industries. And also he worked in IT industry, which I think is one of the most dynamic, volatile industry in Australia. If you go to 3 of the job boards right now, the biggest number of jobs are either in IT or the telecommunications sector. So I'm just going to speak about job advertisement from a IT perspective. So this is a bit busy, but if you can look at the blue one here, the Department of Workplace measures the job vacancy in the IT sector. So January 2002, they started measuring the vacancies in the IT sector. So if you recollect, 2001 September 11 happened and jobs started to decline. And unemployment in IT sector increased to 12.8. It peaked at 12.8, so it was really tough for IT professionals. Then the economy recovered and jobs started to go up. And it keeps going up, and unemployment rate keeps dropping to its lowest 3.8 at about July 07. And something happened in Jan 08. The job vacancy started to take a drop, a very steep drop. Now, why is that? Even though over here unemployment remains stable at about 3%. So where did all those jobs go? Did they migrate somewhere else? Or are employers not just posting jobs anymore? So I'm trying to use this example to illustrate the fact that those jobs might, who knows, I don't know myself until we have more data, will it ever pick up again? We're currently on July 09, unemployment is stable at 4%, but jobs are at its lowest point, below the climate, below Jan 02 when they first measured it up. So this is internet vacancies. If you look at print, same thing happened. We started going back to 95, jobs started being placed, and it keeps going. And at about the same time, Jan 08, jobs started dropping again. Why do you think this is happening? I believe the reason is because candidates are behaving in a very, very different way. And I'm going to point out 3 different things that have changed in the last, I think, 1-2 years. So we have a situation now where recruitment advertising is essentially an information business. So what that means is we buy information about job seekers from job boards, maybe a recruitment firm, we repackage that information and sell it to another person. So essentially it's about buying and selling of information. So if it is about buying and selling of information, what happens if candidates refuse to give you their information? So what I believe the first thing that happened to candidates is that the information action that candidates have increased significantly in the last 2-3 years. So that's my first point. If you look at pre-9 to 5 barriers to getting information was really, really significant. You can't get information about jobs. If you need to apply for a job, what do? You buy a newspaper, look at classifieds, type a resume. The job search process was really, really, the burden was on job seekers. And job seeking and hunting, it's very frustrating because it takes time. You have to go through a lot of process. And in '96, the internet happened and it changed everything. My own example, when I came to Australia 7 years ago, I didn't know anyone. And I used the internet to find out where I was going to study, where I was going to live. And I eventually completed my study using mostly the internet. And what happened, I used the internet for almost everything, including finding my employers, my jobs and everything. In fact, I'm praying that it will probably help my social life as well. So let's see what happened on that front. So what happened is there was a lot of friction before. If you're a job seeker, the whole burden of finding an employer and employment opportunities was on the back of the job seeker. Now the internet changed that, and the cost of applying for a job becomes zero. So what happens if it costs zero? You can just send endless amount of application, or you can go everywhere to find information. So what happens is barriers change. It's all broken. Now job seekers have as much information about employers, more than what employers. So if I were to work for someone, for example, Telstra doesn't know anything about me, but I know a lot about Telstra. So the balance of power in terms of information access, I think, has shifted to job seekers. And this is my argument. As information barriers crumble, the number of job seekers who don't want to work for you increases. And why do you think that is? I think it's because right now there are a lot of companies who don't know me, but there are a lot of companies that I know through my increase in the information access that I have that I wouldn't want to work for because I know that. So information that job seeker has about you as a recruiter or a company has increased significantly. So that's my first point. My second point is there is an explosion of search tool and publishing tool. We've heard this morning from our presenters about the explosion in social media, about the explosion in information that job seekers have. So if you look at 1996, the job seeker perhaps have 4 outlets where you can find a job: job boards, print media, perhaps your personal network, and the staffing agencies. But today, you have how many? At least 30, 40 different channels that you can go to find a job or find information about an employer. So there's this huge explosion of how you can self-publish and announce your availability to employers and recruiters. So what are the options we have? If you look at print media, the traditional way of getting job information, there are about 500 today in Australia. If you add magazines, it's even more. So I just did a report on job boards a year ago. I've listed about 250 job boards. So that's the number of outlets you have as a job seeker to find information about employers.